This was my first major case as a sheriff.
St. Johns County Sheriff Robert Hardwick says the Aiden Fucci case was a defining moment in his law enforcement career.
It was a Mother's Day case. It was a brutal case. Everybody remembers this case. And I mean, that's the case I get to live by and stand by that identified who I was as a leader when I came on board here.
Fucci pleaded guilty to charges of first-degree murder and the stabbing death of fellow classmate 13-year-old Tristan Bailey. Hardwick says he's grateful the Bailey family will see justice.
I will tell you this, that we couldn't have asked for a better family than the Bailey family to be our victims. And I know that probably sounds a little bit, I don't know, maybe a little bit careless maybe, but it's not. It's we couldn't have asked for a better family who understood the process, was patient with us. And now we've become, friends because of the death of their daughter, Tristan. So we're glad this case is going to be over with. As you know, the sentencing is coming up in March. And of course, the judge's hands are tied for a minimum of 40 years. And the maximum, of course, is life, because the state of Florida, you cannot seek death on juveniles. So we're glad this case will move on and get him out of Duval County. Hopefully this family, they're never going to heal, but hopefully they can go towards that phase of, advocacy and knowing that he's serving the rest of his life behind bars.
This local news is a service of your hometown Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota, US 1 St. Augustine, here to wow you.
Starting March 1st, you'll need a pass to drive onto the beaches in St. Johns County. Vehicles can access the beach at A Street, Ocean Trace, Dondonville, Matanzas Avenue, Mary Street, Crescent Beach, and Purpose Point. The Volano and Fort Matanzas access ramps are temporarily closed. Passes can be purchased during regular business hours at any of the open access ramps or online at sjcfl.us/beaches. With St. Augustine's local morning news, I'm Amy Sherry.
Going tiny is an option.
Why is State Rep Cindy Stevenson talking about going tiny? Liz Ryan spoke to her about it.
I have a bill that would provide building standards for tiny houses and would allow them to get consistent licensure. This bill does not require local governments to recognize them or allow them. It's still up to local governments to zone for them.
She explains why people would choose to live in a tiny house.
It's an affordable option, whether you're living in one for a few years and traveling, or you're ready to downsize and have a way to control your housing budget. Some people like to have them as an option. They need a caretaker in their home as they're getting older, or some people think of them as an option for granny flats. You want to live near your grandchildren.
Owners of tiny homes do face obstacles.
They have trouble sometimes getting a consistent tag. And there is some concern about the building standards, because if you're driving down the road going 65 miles an hour, your tiny home needs to be built in a secure fashion. And if you're trying to go to a campground, some campgrounds won't let them come because they don't have any way of knowing if it was built to safety standards. So this would allow them to receive a tag, and their paperwork would say what they are and provide the standards for them.
Representative Stevenson told us that she enjoyed working on this bill.
It's an exciting bill because it gives people choices, and it's kind of a fun product.
For St. Augustine's Local Morning News, I'm Liz Ryan.
St. Augustine names its 2023 De Aviles Award recipient.
The winner is historian and preservationist Paul Weaver III. He received the award Monday from the City Commission.
I think the main reason for the award is I've been on the Historic Architectural Review Board for over 20 years. We've had a lot of important cases. One of them was Wendler versus the City of St. Augustine, which went all the way to the Florida Supreme Court, and it was upheld, and it was about a lady who wanted to demolish 7 historic buildings in our Model Lane Company Historic District, and that was a really important case, and I was proud to serve on it.
As for the award's name,
the city decided there was an interchange of gifts with the City of Aviles, and the City of Aviles did a replica of Pedro Menendez's flagship and sent it to the City of St. Augustine, and we paid to have our Constitution monument reconstructed in a plaza in Aviles. I helped with that, and I was able to go, and there was an exchange of mayors and city commissioners, and I got to go twice to Aviles, and I was the interpreter and got to participate in the ceremony when the Constitution obelisk of St. Augustine was dedicated.
Weaver has also served the St. Augustine Historical Society as a member and president. For St. Augustine's Local Morning News, I'm Rich Petchke.
And now you're up to date with St. Augustine's Local Morning News. I'm Rich Carroll.